Hello and welcome to Susie Unshaped. And boy, oh boy, is this going to be an episode. So, spiritually homeless. This is a term that I would like to call, this is where I was. And this is where I think a lot of people are at the moment. I think you feel spiritually homeless. It's like, there must be something out there. Like, there's something, but all the religious teachings and God, stories about God and specific religions don't really fit. You don't agree with the teachings. You don't agree with how the communities have behaved over the years. I know we've had a lot to do with the Catholic Church in Australia and in England and Ireland and those places, and the atrocities that the power, that the people in power in that church have caused on humanity, the followers of their church. And I'm just speaking for the churches that I know of, but just the hypocrisy and do you know what I mean? Spiritually homeless. I suppose it's not quite atheism, because you is that called atheism? An atheist is atheism? I don't know. Anyway, that's my daughter swears she's an atheist. She believes in nothing. And I think that she went to a religious school. I went to a religious school. The reverend at my school, was an ex-biker. It was apparently he joked down at the pub about this God stuff and how much money you can make off it. And so you can understand why we're feeling so spiritually homeless. And then last night as I was going to sleep, I had this message. It's you've got to talk about this. You have got to talk about this. And I suppose that in the 31-day challenge, I had all these aha moments, and I actually realized by the end of it who I am and what God is, and Christ consciousness, and I have understood the meaning of life and who I am and what I am here to do. And just, if you haven't done the 31-day challenge, it's free. Go and do it. It's fantastic. Because it will just open your eyes to who you are. But I mean, I'm looking for the spiritually homeless, the people that know there's something out there or feel there's something out there, but none of the stories that we've been told, or the religions in there as they are presented, it doesn't quite fit with what our hearts feel. And so I'm just going to bring up this book. So this book here, The Book of Signs by Dr. David Jeremiah. So where I'm staying at my Airbnb, there was this book. And I was oh, I love signs. I'm going to just open to a page, and I'm going to see what sign is there for me. Well, I did not know who this Dr. David Jeremiah was, and he is he's a preacher or minister, but it's a certain type of religion, and oh my gosh, did I get triggered. Whew. Yes, I was so triggered, because it was the polar opposite of absolutely everything I've uncovered over the last 6 weeks in my discovery into who I am, what God is, what the universe is, what the point of life is. And it really, really triggered me, because it was all about punishment and God, the wrath of God, and all this fear-based preachings. And I think that I had to look at this book. I had to look at this book because it was it needed to trigger me. It had already triggered me. But I was getting the message I needed to talk to about this morning. So I actually read a bit more of it. I read a bit more just to see, anyway, it just triggered me even more. I was even more triggered. I was no, this just, it went against every sort of soul discovery that I've made and all the work that I've made. And yeah, I was triggered. And then I was like, oh, I would love like Neil Donald Walsh to have a debate, because Neil Donald Walsh's Conversations with God, which would be the polar opposite of this book. So the polar opposite is the love-based, and the God has, like, why would I bother having wrath? Like, God is pure love. And the reason I would love Neil Donald Walsh to have a debate with him is only because Neil Donald Walsh explains it. It's like, when he talks, I'm like, oh my God, I get it, makes sense. But I haven't embodied like his learnings enough to be able to verbally express why I disagree with the text in this book. So that's why I would love them to have it out. I know it's like, I was talking with my ChatGPT, and it was like, whoa, girl, whoa, take your boxing gloves off. And it was good, because it made me actually dig in. It made me dig into actually why I cared that this triggered. And it's, I don't want to take Dr. David Jeremiah's followers away from him. Like, if that's your belief, you go for it. But what I really sat with why it triggered me and why I wanted to talk about it so much. And that's when we came up with the term spiritually homeless, because I don't want to take his followers, but I want to talk to the people who felt like me, where like all the stories that they've got, all this fear-based and wrath-based and apocalyptic style, like rapture and all of this like scary stuff, that don't buy into those stories, that are just sort of floating around and maybe haven't yet found the other lens of the Neil Donald Walsh Conversations with God lens, of the God is pure love and you are pure love. And it's interesting, and I am going to read you this bit out of it. Just got to find where it was. Oh, I've lost my place. No, okay. I'm going to find it, because here it was. It was, they're talking about when Christ will be returning as our savior to come here. And basically saying like, you'll get signs that it's coming. And then the Dr. David Jeremiah says, I believe that the beginning of the end is quickly approaching, but we have no idea how soon it will arrive. The best course of action is stated in the Apostle Paul's admonition in Romans 13:11. And do this knowing the time, that now is a high time to awake out of sleep, for now our salvation is nearer than when we first believed. And then he says, if we live as if Christ will come tomorrow, we will always strive to be prepared for it. Anyway, the big part I took from this was, now it is high time to awake out of sleep. And what have I been talking about? Like, we are remembering, we are waking up to who we are. And so, yes, I believe that Christ is here. Christ is back already. Christ our Savior, but he's not coming in a human form as he came last time as a single person. It is the Christ consciousness in every single one of us that we are now remembering, and that is how he is returning. Like, he has returned. The Christ consciousness is the same as the universal energy. Like, every single one of us has Christ consciousness inside of us. So we're not waiting for one single Messiah to arrive, like to come down onto earth and do what he did last time. No. This time it's actually, the end is here. And the end is our not remembering. That's what the end is. Like, the end is, it's the end of us not knowing, not remembering who we are, which is that we all have Christ consciousness inside of us. And sorry, Dr. David Jeremiah, I disagree with your opinion of the wrath and the fury, but that God and Christ consciousness is just pure love. And so that's why I'm looking for the spiritually homeless, to just look into this side of religion and not so much the organized religion with the control and the fear-based teachings. You're a sinner and all of these things, to like, that is not what Christ consciousness is. Our Savior is here already now, and it's inside you. I've got this really tiny spider like right next to where I'm recording, and I'm finding that really like how he just moved. He's outside, but anyway, I don't know why that is important, but like, whoa, there it is. That spider is the Messiah. That spider is our Savior, because it also embodies Christ consciousness. We all embody Christ consciousness. Anyway, so yes, the spiritually homeless. I just want to invite you to start looking into the idea that maybe all those stories we've been told, there might be another perspective. One that might align with you, like one that might like feel like home to you. And you don't need to be homeless anymore, because like you are your home. You are Christ consciousness. So you're not spiritually homeless. Like it's always been within you. I know they always say that, you know, like, oh, everything is within you. But after you've done the 31-day challenge, that'll be easy to understand. Like it all is, like the universe is within us. Like we are the same energy that has made the entire universe. It's all within you. Like you are a divine creation. You are Christ consciousness. And it's interesting because they say Jesus, when he was here, and I'm not sure, like, I don't know whether Jesus, when he incarnated on earth, whether he had less of the veil that we all chose to have. I don't know that. I don't know enough about it. But what I do know is I think there's a period of about 18 years in Jesus' like lifetime that is just not on record. And according to things I've researched, he actually was in like Tibet learning the ancient Tibetan traditions. He was in India learning the ancient like Indian traditions. Like he was learning all the different theologies of all the different races and like of the highest, like at the time, like high priests and like the highest intellects, and to understand life. And so he wasn't like, if you think he was 18 years, and I don't even know where I got that number from, but apparently it was 18 years of him going and learning, like understanding humanity from each of the most respected players on the earth, before he then came back and was the healer and was the was the magician basically. And if you think about now what we know about manifestation, if Jesus was on earth and also had that same understanding and didn't have that veil and knew who he was and knew that it was just energy and knew that it was just frequencies, we understand how he could have done that and made all the miracles happen. Like it makes perfect sense if he understood what we are only now just remembering and coming to like terms with. Yeah, like it makes total sense that he could click and that he could change matter through thought. Like, was it the bread and wine and the loaves and the fishes, and like with what we now know, he could do that. I don't know why I'm talking about that, but anyway, it's so funny. But anyway, yes. So I just wanted to talk about when things trigger you, and looking at why they trigger you. And I realized then, like, I realized why, because I think probably why it triggered me for so long too is that I was spiritually homeless until I found all this new understanding. I've been studying this probably for 12 years now, and really it's only in the last 6 weeks that I've finally like really got it, like really understood it. And I'm sure there's still more to come, and especially as it plays out in the 3D world. But just take a breath. So if you're spiritually homeless and looking for maybe a different point of view to like wrath and fear and sin, I encourage you to do the 31-day challenge. And if you've already done it, I think you'll be with me, and you'll be like, if you've already done the 31-day challenge, you will be like, yeah, I'm with you, sister. I get it, like I get it, and I can understand why you'd be triggered by that. Especially if you went through it, like going to religious schools when you were younger, or if like a religion you didn't agree with played a large part in your life. Anyway, I'm going to sign off now. I actually thought this video was going to be a whole lot longer. I think because I was so triggered, but I think like I know my truth. I know what is true. And I suppose that's it. If you're feeling spiritually homeless and you don't know your truth and you don't know what the point of this all is and you're feeling lost, well, welcome. We're very happy to have you here. If you're still listening, you must be going, wow, I do want to know more. I do want to know more. Anyway, I said, yeah, start day 1 on the challenge. It's funny because I've had 2 friends that I've directed to my challenge yesterday. So everyone, just start on day 1. Love you. Bye.